The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
Hey, welcome to the Writer's Block Podcast. I'm Mandra.
I'm Debbie.
And I'm Shelly. Thank you for joining us at the Writer's Block, where our mission is to inspire, empower, and help people be well. We've got a great show for you today. Excuse me, we're going to be talking about one of the most important concepts in writing, voice. Shell, can you tell us what voice is?
Well, voice is what makes you you. Okay, so I looked up a few definitions. I love Google because Google knows all. And voice is the author's style, the quality that makes his or her writing unique. It's what conveys the author's attitude, personality, and character. So the voice is being you. I have a few authors that I love to read because Erma Bombeck, I think, has some great sarcasm. I love Gina Barreca. She has got some great sarcasm. And also Dennis Leary, which I had to stop reading his first book because I became too sarcastic by reading his book. So his voice definitely worked because it started to protrude through me. And I needed to put it down.
So you find that you're actually drawn to certain voices, certain characteristics.
Drawn to the voices that I think I am and want to be.
Right.
I'm thinking she wants to be sarcastic. I mean, sometimes I take it, I'm
that?
slow on the pickup, but I'm thinking you like sarcasm.
I do love sarcasm.
Huh. I don't really think of you as a sarcastic person, do you?
Yes.
Really? Jeez. Okay.
Sparkly and sarcastic.
Wow.
That's Shelly.
That's a great combination.
Sarcastic.
Ooh. I'm going to copyright that.
Sarcastic.
I like it. I'm going to write that down right now.
So we also spoke with some other authors to kind of get their take on what voice is and sort of one of the ways to explain it. Deb, who did...
I reached out to Denise Egan. She's a wonderful writer. And what she wrote back is, I think voice is who you are. I think developing your voice is digging deep, turning off the internal editor, and having the strength to let out pieces of yourself in the words you choose, the characters you choose, and the stories you decide to write. I also reached out to Barb Wallace, who is also another wonderful writer. She said strong voices are often most polarizing. If you see a book where readers either hated or loved it with no middle ground, they are usually the books with strong voices. She also warned beginner writers that you should beware of flattening your voice in order to sound like the perfect book. A beginner writer often revises a scene until it sounds like every other book they've ever read with that type of scene. Good voice isn't always perfect, but it is memorable. I thought that was helpful.
Yeah, and I think we saw that in our writers group. We had a few members whose voices were so strong that you'd read a couple lines and you'd know immediately who it was. And grammar, format, those types of things maybe weren't needed some work, but their voice was clear and easy to recognize.
Right. Grammar is fairly easy to learn, but voice, it takes time.
You could pay someone to do grammar.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
There's something to your point earlier when somebody listens to Howard Stern that likes Howard Stern. He is their morning drive, so 22 to 26 minutes, and that's it. The people that hate Howard Stern turn him on when they get into the office because they have to hear the next thing that they're going to hate. So writing in a voice that is covers all the gambits and the greatest book ever, you may not have those interactions with your reader that you're looking for. You want to have that one true voice from you, and hopefully it polarizes people because the people that hate you are going to hate you because they ain't you, and they're going to keep reading.
And they're going to love to hate you.
Yeah, you got to have some haters.
Okay, I don't want any haters.
Publicity
Just for the record, I'll put it out there. I'd rather not have haters.
Okay.
I'm a lover, not a hater.
Oh, gosh. You can be a little bit of both. So we thought maybe one of the best ways to explain voice would be for you to actually hear it, because it is sort of one of those concepts that can be hard to pin down and talk about. So what we're going to do is spend a little time reading two excerpts from two well-known authors, and we're going to see if you can figure out who they might be. So these are well-known authors. They are names you have heard of if you've read any books lately, and we'll see if you can kind of figure out who it is, and this will help you learn the concept of voice and
Maybe
how
we
to
should
be clear.
Maybe we should give them a multiple choice ahead of time.
Okay.
Just because it would be a little bit hard with no names. Maybe if we gave them, let's give them 4 names.
Okay. Let's do Stephen King.
Perfect. How
Let's do
about James Patterson,
James Patterson,
Erma Bombeck,
Erma Bombeck, and who's one of your favorites? Jody
Piccoult.
Jody Piccoult. So James Patterson, Stephen King, Erma Bombeck, Jody Piccoult. Those are your.
And so that I'm following along, we're going to try to guess
Yes.
which one
Is
without playing the man.
without playing.
Yeah, meaning
When we read it?
if you paused longer on one versus the other, because that's how I would play it. I'm sorry. I digress.
You cheat.
I'm going back.
Cheater.
I'm going back to just being the lowly producer. I'm going to mute my mic now.
No, play along, Jonathan. All right, let's get started. Let's hear our first author. Shelly.
That's me? Okay. Leo Fisher holds a pair of boxer undershorts to the knife wound in his neck, trying to stop the flow of blood pumping out. The shorts don't seem to be doing much good. The fabric is soaked. His arm is slathered in sticky blood. The 61-year-old tries to take a shallow, calming breath. A spasm of pain rips through his chest. If a gouge in his neck doesn't kill him, under such stress, his heart condition surely will.
Now that's voice.
That is voice.
Right. They're very quick sentences, short sentences, clear, lots of visceral reaction. Great voice. Whoever that is has a really strong voice.
Sure, I didn't write that. Am I one of the choices?
You are not A,
No.
B, C, or D.
Okay.
Not in this episode.
But we'll use you another time.
All right.
Oh, we will.
All right, so we have a second excerpt for you. Here we go, Deb.
I wish this is my writing, but this isn't mine. Things break all the time. Glass and dishes and fingernails. Cars and contracts and potato chips. You can break a record, a horse, a dollar. You can break the ice. There are coffee breaks and lunch breaks and prison breaks. Day breaks, wave breaks, voices breaks. Contracts can be broken, so can silence and fever. For the last 2 months of my pregnancy, I made lists of all these things in hopes it would make your birth easier.
Right up until the pregnancy, I was going to guess Eminem. Because he rhymes the same word over and over and over again.
Wow.
But there was that flow to it, right?
Absolutely.
There was that musical kind of smoothness.
I almost started
to the
beatboxing,
writing.
but my mic was muted, so you couldn't hear it if I did.
I love it.
Maybe okay. So, Jonathan, you're the only one who doesn't know. Who would you guess is
Okay, so yeah, we have we have one,
Yep.
right? We have the first one.
Leo Fisher with his underwear to his neck?
I have no guesses whatsoever. I have no idea who those authors are. I kind of know who Stephen King is,
Okay.
and I pretended you were Jody Piccoult to some of my students as a kid.
Oh, me
When
too.
I was coaching gymnastics a million years ago. So
Coaching gymnastics a million years ago when they said your wife's a writer, you said I was Jody Piccoult?
yes, is that bad?
I don't know.
That's a compliment.
There's a okay. I'm flattered and hope that someday you can actually admit that your wife is Debbie Monk, and that means something.
All right, let's do our choices again.
Yes.
Okay, so we had.
I guess we have to tell since we don't have any guessers.
Why?
Right, but
You can
I'm just gonna review-
tell next week and let people guess, and then they've got a reason to listen to next week's show.
We could do that. So shall I just review the choices?
Sure.
They know who they're thinking about?
Okay.
All right, so we had Stephen King, James Patterson, Erma Bombeck, and Jody Piccoult.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, this will be fun. I can't wait to get some feedback.
I mean, and if they can't
I'm
wait.
going James Patterson on the one that Shelly read.
So number one, your guess is James Patterson.
That's my guess.
Okay, do you have a guess for two? Let's write down Jonathan's guesses
Okay.
here.
And then I know Jody Piccoult by name only,
Yep.
and I know that Deb likes her writing,
So that's
and she said that she liked that one. But
He
I
is
think
sneaky.
I'm playing the man on this one, and I'm going Erma Bombeck.
Wow.
I
All right,
just
write
have.
that down. We'll tell him if he's right or wrong.
Okay.
I can already tell I'm wrong.
So maybe people can send us a Facebook
Yes.
message.
Our, the Writer's Block Podcast New Hampshire on our Facebook page. They could
Right? Send us your guesses.
Yeah.
Oh, that will be
For
let's
number
have-
one and
Yes.
number two.
And you know what? Why don't we? I don't know if this is a good idea, but why don't we, if anyone likes either of any of the life ponderings that we can have a winner.
We're gonna have a
Oh,
contest.
what if we have multiple winners?
Yeah, we might need to.
We might be maybe
wait on that.
You may not want to call an audible on
Okay.
contest because you don't have enough life ponderings to give out to 1 million people.
All right.
We'll just give a good shout
Shout
out
out,
to whoever it is on the next podcast. So that was a great way for you to kind of hear what voice
because
is.
they are so distinctly different.
Exactly. So the next thing we were going to do is let people kind of hear our voices. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to read a few lines from each of our books. Some books have been published, like Deb's. Some books have not been published, like Shelly and mine, but that's okay. We're going to read and just give you a taste of, what our voices sound like. So who wants to start? Shelly, you want to
Sure.
take that off?
I'll jump in.
All right.
Okay. A few lines from our book, or from my book called As the Chair Turns.
Love that title.
She thinks back to junior high. She can remember as far back as age 10 when inspired thoughts flooded her attention and tugged at her creative mind. Her competing dreams fighting between being a long-distance truck driver owning her own big shiny rig with a sleeper cab traveling across the country, or to being an interior designer for the $1 million homes of the stars. That doesn't sound like me at all, does it?
It definitely sounds like you.
I'd like to be over here. I'd like to be over there. I'd like
Right.
to do this.
I could see her
And
driving
all
her-
things are shiny.
And all things are shiny and sparkle. What's
Yes.
our new hashtag for you?
Oh,
Sparkastic.
Sparkastic.
Yes.
she would drive her shiny rig up to the shiny houses that she's designing.
Correct. Correct. So that was Shelly's voice from As the Chair Turns. All right. Deb, what are you reading from?
All right, here are the first few lines to my first published novel, Searching for Julia Stone. This isn't my life. That's the first thought I've had every morning for the past I don't know how long. I squeeze my eyes shut, hoping I'll fall asleep and wake up on the right side of my life, but my unconscious and subconscious do battle and I lay in limbo. Cue second thought. I have a great life. Oh, goody. Guilt has shown up before breakfast. There's nothing wrong with my life. It's me. There's something wrong with me.
There's a little sarcasm there, too.
Yeah,
Deb.
there is.
Oh, see, really?
Yeah.
Oh, goody. Yes.
Kind of a little dark window into your soul.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I hate to say it, but the way this book started, to be perfectly honest, I was halfway through another book, and I woke up one morning and I looked at the walls, and that is exactly what happened. And I went downstairs and started writing.
Wrote it.
Yeah, and spent about 9 months. I just kept going, and for about a couple chapters, I was writing totally my own life. Like I talk about the paint color that is the paint color in my bedroom, and then at chapter 3, I said, okay.
So there's a little memoir in this.
No, just
No?
it was the beginning, but then I had to let the characters take over, and then they took over so much they completely went in a direction I had no idea. So that's me.
So that was Deb's voice from Searching for Julia Stone. Okay, I guess I'm up.
You are.
Mandra's turn.
Mandra's turn. I'm going to read a few lines from Just Another Love Story, which is my memoir. Okay, here we go. Christmas time sucked that year. Brad's stomach had grown so distended he looked like my sister Sarah, who now was 8 months pregnant. Normally a thin man, his belly actually measured larger around than hers. And yes, we were that type of family that actually took out the tape measure and checked.
Now, see, I see sarcasm there, too.
I do
I am
too,
rubbing
a little
off on
bit.
you,
Yes.
too. I love it.
But the thing I loved
it's
about
real.
that, yes, and when she stopped, I forgot that she was going to stop. I wanted to
Right.
make her keep going. That's what a
Yes.
good voice does. It just right from the beginning draws you
Hooks
in.
you right
and
in.
You don't even think, should I keep going? You do it automatically.
I really liked whoever is slamming stuff against their microphone needs to stop, Deborah.
Whoever,
Ever.
yes, whoever's
You.
doing that,
That would
should
be
stop.
you, Deb.
So your earrings, every time you turn your head so
Oh.
quickly, are slamming against the
Okay, I'll
wall.
take them off.
That's a fashion faux pas
Yeah,
for
it is.
podcasting.
Oh, silly me. Okay.
So before I was so rudely interrupted by Deborah's earrings, Mandra, I liked the comedic side in juxtaposition to the darkness that was kind of underlying. So for me anyways, if I'm reading something, for me to stay interested, I can't be all dark and I can't be all funny. There's got to be that back and forth, and you were able to capture that in such a short amount of time. Great example of voice.
Thank you.
Agreed. Beautiful.
Thank
So,
you.
I guess that means he's going to read your whole book. I wish I could throw this at him. Mandra's on the island. He's
I'm on the
reading
island.
Mandra's book. Okay.
Vander's cooking things. All right, so those were examples of our voices. And I think what we're going to do in our next podcast is actually we'll assign some exercises to help our listeners kind of discover or work on their own voices. So why don't we head on into our project updates?
Okay.
For what we've been working on or where our projects stand right now.
So, Deb, I hear yours might be like super exciting.
Yeah, why don't
I'm sitting on my chair? No?
Oh,
No.
well, it has to do with last week.
Oh, okay. I like it.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
So last week, Howard, my editor, who I admit I have a little crush on, gave me guidance on where to start with the back cover blurb, as I told you. So I went home and I wrote it, and then I sent it to the blurb bitch. No, I'm not calling her that. That is her title, which is why last week I was calling her.
We did the blurb people.
I was calling her the
which is
blurb people, which
hysterical.
sounded
I didn't
like
know
the
that
pod
was
people,
right?
because I didn't know if we could say bitch. So blurb bitch. So I sent it to her.
Did we get authorization?
Oh
to
yeah,
say
we had a whole conversation this morning in the bathroom
I got approved.
about whether or not it was acceptable.
we get bitch approval.
Yes.
I love it.
So I sent her the paragraph that I wrote. She tweaked it and definitely made it better. It's very clear there's a difference between novel writing and copywriting, and I don't consider myself a good copywriter yet, nor do I aspire to be. But she was wonderful. She took my blurb. She made it better. I'm going to do a combo of the two, of mine with hers. We're in the final tweaking stage.
Sounded really good.
Yeah. So we're in the final tweaking stage, but back cover blurb, a check.
That is awesome.
Bam. High fives.
Good progress. Oh my gosh. That's so exciting. And this is for which
This is for Well-Behaved Woman Coming Undone.
well-behaved women
One step closer.
coming undone.
Yes.
Great.
I can see the finish line. We're close. We're very, very close. Yes. So stay tuned for an exciting announcement.
I'm like nervous enough for myself, and then I'm nervous times 3 for all of us, and it's like 20 cups of coffee all
I'm
at
not
once.
nervous. I'm so excited. We're
I'm
going to be
excited and
with her
nervous,
through this
yeah.
process
Yes.
of getting the second book
Yeah, we're going
published.
to
That's
hold it in our
awesome.
hands.
Yeah. That's great, Deb.
Yeah.
All right, Shelly.
We need to plan a party for that.
Yes.
We do.
Yeah, we need the book launch. I love it. So my update last week, I told you that I actually hit the send button on the PayPal to definitely hire a developmental editor to help me sew this story together. And so after hitting that send button, I have a Skype session with her this Thursday, which I'm about ready to pee my pants on. I did notice on her Facebook page the other day that she had commented on having to set a client's writing aside because there were too many voices in her head. And I was like, I bet you that's me. So I sent her a picture of my writing space overlooking the water. And she wrote back and she said, actually, it was your piece that I had to put down. I was like, oh,
Wow.
I'll take that as a good sign, right?
That's wonderful.
Hang on a
Talk
second.
about voice.
Is that a good thing if there's so many voices?
Well, I'm hoping she doesn't steal some of my voices.
I'm nervous.
She said she had to put it down to go write some notes. Like there were too many voices going on in her head.
Well, that
I took that as a good thing.
absolutely, because
Yeah,
she can
okay.
pick and choose. She can pick the best ones.
Jonathan, are you pulling the man card on me right now?
Not
You
at
wanna
all.
Disagree?
There's no mansplaining going on
Okay.
from the lowly booth over here.
Okay, because I'm just going to let you know. Remember that I'm a hairdresser and I know everything.
Well, here's the thing. I'm bald, and you don't scare me.
Ooh. Ooh.
That is to be determined.
I am never so quick to make a judgment, good or bad. I like to just kind of let things play out myself, and that's why I was equal parts excited and concerned, because could it be that there were too many voices going on?
Did
from
you
different
mean there were so
positions?
many voices, like she had so many thoughts regarding your work that she needed to put it down and go, right.
That's how I took it.
Okay.
That's how I took it.
Okay.
We shall see on Thursday
Right.
when I Skype with her. And
Oh, well,
she
I
gives
can't
me
wait
the
to hear.
actual assignment.
Right.
I can't
Because-
wait to hear.
I mean, I've never worked with a developmental editor. I don't know what Howard would call himself, but I think he's a straight shooter, straight editor. So I think this is so fun. We're learning so much.
We are.
Yeah. So much to the
Thursday.
process that you wouldn't expect. So I can't wait to hear how Thursday goes.
Me too.
We might need to come over and be part of the Skype session.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys can be those two people that people can hear but not see. You can-
Deb's earrings will be clanging around.
Why does she have to have her head so close to the camera? It's so awkward.
Is that something somebody over your shoulder? No, it's nobody. No.
And Mandra, what's your update?
Not much.
Oh, maybe that's why she kind of kept talking over us.
I just, it just been working in edits from your feedback and my sister's feedback, and still sort of playing around with the order of some sections. So it's not very exciting work. It's kind of still the meat of getting it right. But hopefully taking the time to do it will be worth it in the end.
Well, and that's an important part to realize. We've been working a year and a half together, all three of us, and most weeks we aren't quite this. We don't have this. We're not this exciting. You don't have developmental editors.
We're always
I don't
exciting, but we don't have these big announcements.
Right.
Right. Sometimes you're just working in the
Yes.
edit. Yeah, and revising and revising and revising. So I'm in the weeds of that. But that's not a bad place
Still a
to
good
be.
update.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thank you. All right. I think it's time to kind of take a walk around the neighborhood. So
We will eventually have music for this segment.
that's
Yes.
right.
Deb
No,
is
I-
going to learn how to play the piano.
Deb
again.
knows how to play the piano.
Wow.
Oh,
We've been together for 15 years. I've never seen her play the piano. I'm
That's
just going to say. And we've
didn't
been
know that.
together with pianos
Oh,
many times, and she's never played the piano. So I'm
Okay.
going to stand by what I said. She's going to learn how to play the piano, and then she's going to learn how to play a piece of music, and we're going to have that featured.
I love that.
okay.
All right. Well, for now, we're
That
going
said,
to...
this is our segue.
Okay. I'm sending a bill. Okay.
You're what?
I'm sending a bill for
For the music?
for podcast music. Yes.
Well, for now, we're just going to sashay on over to... I love that. To Life Pondering Square with Debbie Monk.
All right. If you could pass that for me. Jonathan has a picture. Last week we mentioned my love of sticky notes and Shelly's love of glitter. So I brought this one in. I thought I would show you the second incarnation of Life Ponderings. After I had my little village of characters that I showed you the first one last week, I decided to make them smaller, more practical, and a little more artsy than crafty. So I used the sticky note to convey their message. And if you're going to have a custom sticky pad, you obviously should have a matching pen.
Of course.
This wood base, I wanted a wood base, so I reached out to my dear friend, Randy Smith. He helped me do this. This wood is actually called Purple Heart. So when he said I have purple heart wood, I said that's the
So
one
it's
I want.
not stained? That's
It's not
actually the tone of the
Yes.
wood? That's beautiful. It's
Thank
like a
you.
light purple.
It is.
Yeah.
So her head is made of a faux diamond and her body is covered in glitter, and her note says, I sparkle from inside. She reminds me as I go through my day, writing down my list of things I have to do, that life isn't just about the to-do list, it's also about remembering to sparkle.
And there's lots of sparkle. I
Yes.
love that, Deb.
I love it.
Thanks, girls.
All right, are we gonna have rocket music too, or is it just the music to the beginning of the whole segment?
Oh, you're gonna have to learn
Because
some
we're gonna
rocket
we're
piano
gonna
notes.
rocket on over
All
to
right.
Inspiration Alley with Shelly.
Well, a little bit of art therapy here too, with my shout out to a friend of mine that I've known my entire life. Since we were in diapers. Her name is Michelle, but she goes by Shelly Hill, ShelleHill. And she's on Instagram. And I love her quote on Instagram. She says that she's a storyteller and a story maker, creating perfectly imperfect pieces of art with vintage linens and objects to be found on her adventures. And her hashtag is The Linen Whisperer. And she came to my house with our staff from the Water's Edge Salon. We actually made this journal out of vintage linens. And the story that she went into to tell us all is, you know, some of these linens are christening gowns from 125 years old and wedding gowns. And I mean, the stories that, you know, I've been to her art studio and talk about voices in your head. I'm not sure they're voices in my head because her room is filled with all these vintage linens. And she had us make this journal. She made us put the linen together. She made us sew it, and she had scissors and glue sticks and all kinds of things for us. And she
Look at
just
that
does,
lace. I mean, that's
she does
beautiful.
beautiful work. So she doesn't only do journals. She creates jewelry. She creates dolls, but it's all out of repurposed vintage linen and vintage jewelry, vintage buttons, and all kinds of things. So Deb, you're gonna have to take a
field
visit
trip.
to her
Yes.
studio because it is gorgeous. But again, she's on Instagram, and that's Shelly Hill, and she is amazing.
So even
Check her out.
the use of the word vintage instead of old crap, which doesn't sound nearly
She
as
would be
sexy
horrified right now,
as
Jonathan.
vintage.
It's like distressed instead
Correct.
of
Beat up.
paint peeling. It's distressed wood. Really,
Yes.
it's just
Correct.
weathered.
In the hair world, we say it's now a highlight, not a frosting.
Oh,
And
yes.
it's
Beautiful.
It's a not a trailer park. It's a mobile home.
Mm-hmm.
It's all just a different word, right? But no, vintage.
I love
that, Shelly.
It's nice.
Vintage
And
linen.
it's stunning.
It is stunning. It's
so
gorgeous
beautiful.
piece. Okay, so let's skip on over to Mandra's Wellness Corner. And I'm going to talk a little bit. I'm going to start kind of a series on clean eating and what that is. We'll talk about some paleo type of lifestyles and Whole30s and all that type of thing.
Will we get snacks?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
I will
Okay,
bring
so the banana
in some
bread's
recipes.
banana bread.
that-
Banana
yes.
Ooh, that was good.
That was Homer Simpson.
Was
It was hilarious. Anyway, just a quick kind of what clean eating is it's about eating whole foods. So actual vegetables, fruits, meats, poultry. It's none of the processed crap. It requires little, like there's no being refined, no manufacturing, little handling. It's in food in its most natural form. So the next couple of podcasts, I'm going to talk about that, have some great recipes for you, and also talk about actually cooking. Like you actually have to cook your food, connect with your food, which sounds crazy, but if you buy your food, wash it, cut it, cook it, you now have more of a connection than if you just rip open a package, add some water, and throw it in the microwave. And that changes your whole relationship with what you eat, what you put into your body. And I'll talk about the amazing benefits that myself and a lot of other people have had with this way of eating. So,
And I think you're posting some amazing stuff on your Mandra Be Well
yes,
Instagram.
Check out @Mandra Be Well. I have some great recipes that are all easy because I don't have tons of time to prep and cook and all of that. So I find things that are simple, just a few steps, not tons of ingredients, and they taste amazing. Even my 6-year-old will eat it. So yeah, stay tuned for all that good stuff.
And I would say something about that social media too is that we're encouraging everybody to follow us, but even to just do us a little favor and tell your friends as well to follow us as well, because your pictures, I want to like pull them out of my phone and eat them right there because they are amazing. So I want to click on and find those recipes and to follow all of us on our social medias as
Right,
well
so
as
Shelly,
the
what do we
writer
have
book.
for you?
I am at Shelly Devlin Inspire
Mm-hmm.
and Shelly Devlin on Facebook.
DeborahMonk.com and Deborah Monk Author on Instagram, I believe.
Yeah,
Better check.
Mr. Jonathan on all platforms.
Love it.
And I'm at Mandra Be Well. And also follow us on our Facebook page, The Writer's Block.
And it's
And-
Podcast New Hampshire on Facebook.
The Writer's Block
New Hampshire.
Podcast New Hampshire. NH.
NH.
Right.
Yes. And I think that's our show for today. Next week, we're going to continue with our voice section. So may you be inspired, feel empowered, and be well.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.